Well, I'm just delighted to be here with you. Thanks so much for coming, and I guarantee you, as we say in Texas, we won't be going 3 hours, okay? This will be a much shorter workshop, and if there's a lot of positive feedback from our experience today, we can certainly have a follow-up of some kind, but I don't want to keep you here that long. So I do appreciate your being here. Now, if you have any issues with my name, you're not the only ones. Unfortunately, my name has tripped a lot of people up in a lot of ways over the years. I'll give you an example. This is a real live example that occurred in the summer of 2008. I was in Colorado Springs and I was running a seminar for a Liberty Fund, and it happened to coincide with my birthday. So my colleagues wanted to throw me a surprise birthday party, and they were all excited about this. So they go to a cake decorator, and they they tell this woman that just put "Congratulations, Cleves" on the cake. So the cake decorator writes down the instructions, and then as they're on my colleagues are on their way out the door, the cake decorator stops and says, "Oh, wait a second, is Cleves a man or a woman?" "Oh, well, he's a man." So she writes it down. So that night, when the surprise birthday party is ready to come about, and they get me in a room, and they wheel in the cake, and they take the cover off the cake, it says, "Congratulations, Cleves is a man." So my name has been giving people trouble for years. Okay, what I'd like to do is something to get us started in the idea of leadership here. I want us to go to the very heart of what leadership is about. What do you think leadership's about? What's the heart of leadership? Anybody? What do you think it is?
Inspiration.
It's inspiration. That could be one answer. Remember that? What else? In the practical world, not the academic world, but when you're out there, you have to do what if you're a leader?
Step out and take a risk.
Step out and take a risk. And how do you, Christine, how do you take risks?
You could be innovating, you could be leading others, you could be coming up with new ideas, you could be doing something that others aren't doing but you truly think needs to be done. Okay,
and to get to that process, what needs to happen? You have this array of alternatives out in front of you, and what do leaders do?
Unify a group of people.
They unify a group of people, but what do they have to do to get people to that point where they can be unified?
Have a vision.
They have a vision. They have inspiration. They're unifiers. You guys are so close.
They have to communicate.
They have to communicate.
Show people you can be trusted.
Show people you can be trusted. Gerald R. Ford said trust is the #1 important ingredient to leadership. You have to be a person of your word. You say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. What else? You are right so close to it. There's one thing that leaders do that separates them from followers, in addition to all the fine answers you have given so far. At the core of leadership. Brian?
I think I know what you're getting at. Make decisions.
Make decisions. Leaders have to be the people, the man or the woman who says, there are all these array of options out there, but there's one thing only that we can do. I've got to make that decision. I've taken all of your input. I value your input. I love you. I want all of your input. But I, at the end of the day, alone, have to make a decision. Comes with the job description of being a leader. Leaders are often, and they'll write this, they'll tell you this in their memoirs again and again, leaders are sometimes very lonely people, even though they're surrounded by multitudes. They make decisions. The tougher the decision, the more people they anger, alienate, upset. Brian and I at the Leadership Academy like to call these the 51-49 decisions. You're teetering. There are a lot of reasons why you could answer or go in one direction. But you have to, at the end of the day, you have to decide. Making no decision is not an option. That would be a kind of decision in itself, but leaders are expected to make the tough calls. So leaders make this tough decision, and at the 51-49 decision, they really have struggled with it. Now let's talk just a little bit for a few minutes. What goes into making a decision? What are the ingredients? Let's be analytical. Analytical comes from the Greek word which means to break apart. Let's analyze this a little bit. Leaders make tough decisions. What are the parts of decision making?
Information.
Leaders make decisions, but I'm going to emphasize tough decisions. Okay. The first stage, there's information gathering. What else happens in that first phase?
Listening to both sides of an argument.
Listening to both sides. Could there be 3 sides, 4, 5?
No.
Absolutely. There are often multiple perspectives. And the stronger the leader, the more secure the leader, the more open he is to all of these different perspectives. Multiple. Let's emphasize that word. Multiple perspectives. It's because we humans have our own experiences that we bring to any decision we have to make. And we're going to get to that in more detail in just a moment. But we're gathering. And what are we doing with this information? What are the ways, say, or the methods that we treat this welter, this raft of different information that we get? We don't just sort of write it down on index cards and just let it sit there. What are we doing with it?
Analyzing it.
Analyzing it. Okay, so there's analysis. What else? This pen and I are not going to get along for very long. What else?
We're processing it to put together a series of options.
Processing for options. Good. What else?
We're weighing pros and cons,
Weighing pros and cons.
costs and benefits.
Outcomes of each decision.
Let me ask you something. What is a tough decision that you've had to make that you can share with us? Toughest decision in your life you have made that you can share with us?
Perhaps a recent tough one would be working with a student worker that was not working out for us.
Okay. So you're losing sleep wondering whether you have to ask them to move on? Okay. That is one of the toughest decisions people have to face because you're dealing with a real life. And everybody who has ever managed people knows that that is the toughest decision. Whether you're going to change a person's life by saying, you're not welcome here anymore. It's a serious step. I don't know about you, I lose sleep over that question. Okay, you wrestle with it too. This is that's a big one. Would you say it was a 51-49? You sort of, or was the evidence so abundantly clear? It's just how do you usher them out the door?
No, maybe 51-49.
Okay,
yeah.
good. So tell us your name.
Sharon.
Sharon. Sharon, what did you do to process that decision? Was the decision going to be yours to make?
I included others in on the decision. Yes.
Okay, it's yours to make, though, at the end of the day. What did you do? Let's talk about this first phase. How did it actually unfold in your heart and in your mind?
Well, I guess the steps, I did do some things. I went back and I thought about some of the things that had happened, and I gathered that information as you have it up on the board.
Okay. Information gathering.
Then I think I did a lot of weighing, trying to...
Okay, it's kind of like scales? Is it a sort of a balance?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people say. It's why the judicial process is called weighing. The judge is making a decision. A jury is making the awesome decision whether to put somebody to death or not. One of the burdens of citizenship. See, all of us are called to be leaders, even with such a decision as that. Okay? What else?
Well, I brought in some other people who were involved in at least parts of it as well.
Okay. Multiple perspectives. You're analyzing it. You're weighing the pros and the cons, the outcomes, the costs and benefits. The cost is that you lose a colleague, you hurt feelings, you might wreck a life. The benefits to you, though, to your office, maybe there's more peace and harmony. Maybe there's a better work product. There are all kinds of, okay, so you're weighing.
I think benefits to the person as well, because I think perhaps it wasn't a good fit. So.
Good point.